Hi, good evening. We have Manish Gunwani, CIO Equities, Reliance Mutual Fund, here to discuss the equity outlook. Hi, Manish. So the first question here is, despite volatile markets, we are seeing Sensex at all-time highs. So do you think the markets are discounting what's happened with the macro concerns because those have been on a rise?
So there are two parts to this question. One is that if you look at Nifty, actually over last 3-4 years, it has not done much. So the large caps generally had underperformed the broader market and they had reasonable value in them. The second is when you talk about macro worries, actually in terms of crude price rise or inflation, the outlook going forward is not that adverse. So what happens is because of the spike in crude oil, we had challenges on current account deficit, but I expect those challenges to soften going ahead. So in that sense, the concern is more, I think, growth rather than macro worries. And since the growth expectations on the large caps were not very high, we are seeing the large caps hold up.
Have fundamentals of the stock market improved? The long-awaited earnings recovery, which we've been talking for quite some time, has that finally arrived in your view?
Yeah, I think for 6-7 years, if you look at the earnings growth in Nifty, it was just 4-5%, when nominal GDP is 11-12%. Now we are clearly seeing a bottom being made in earnings of a lot of sectors. So we do expect that for the large cap universe, over next 2 years, we should see about 15 to 20% earnings growth per annum, which will obviously help the large caps perform.
Despite Nifty or Sensex very close to all-time highs, what we have seen is that the mid-cap and small-cap indexes are on a declining trend. Do you see this continuing, or do you think it's a time to have a reallocation between the different market capitalization?
So I think it's a combination of things. One is definitely that mid-caps had done very well for 4 years, from 2013 end to 2017 end. And the valuation gap was very high versus large caps. So some part of it is the valuation normalization of mid and small caps versus large caps. But I do think that value is now emerging, and our stance is now we are more neutral between mid and small caps versus large caps.